Hey, what's up, you guys? My name is Wolf, and welcome back to LEGO Arts. So, in the last episode, we did a showcase and review video on some Jin Customs and Custom Spider-Man minifigures, as well as the first Venom figure before we make the second. In this episode, we're actually going to do a showcase on some big figs featuring the two big bads from the Marvel Cinematic Universe and the DC Entertainment Universe. So, as you can see, here we have DARKSEID from Zack Snyder's Justice League and an updated version on Armored THANOS from Avengers Endgame. I decided to work on these figures a little after I finished up the Ragnarok project, and while I was working on some final stuff for Spider-Man, and I figured that instead of like just doing two individual showcases just on these guys, I figured that since they're such big villains in their respective universes, we could go ahead and put them together and sort of do like just one big showcase for both of them. So, if you guys know the drill, we're going to take these figures one at a time, review them, explain the process, why we're just about, and then go from there. So without further ado, let's get the pedestal out and get the showcase on the road. Okay, to kick off the showcase, here we have the custom figure on DARKSEID. This is like one of my favorites, like villains in the DC franchise. And for a long time, I wanted to do DARKSEID, especially his design in the Zack Snyder Justice League movie. Like, it just looked so awesome and cool. But I could never figure out like exactly how to make the figure, and I kept running out of time with working on with some other stuff that this was a project that I just put on a shelf for a while until one day I came around to it, and then a few months ago I saw that Venom was working on some new projects, and one of which was this custom mold on this DARKSEID big fig piece that's perfectly matched up with DARKSEID's appearance in Justice League. And I figured that we could go ahead and purchase one of these, give it a quick paint job. So basically, all the sculpting and detailing work was already done. All I really had to do was just go in, do the painting and detailing, and this was the final result. So the overall design of the figure is pretty cool. Like, as you can see, it perfectly replicates like DARKSEID's armor, how it is in the movie, with all the detailing done, especially around with the armor. Like, I think that was the biggest challenge that would have been done for this figure, of trying to figure out how the hell to do every single piece of the armor detailing. And you can see how it goes from the legs down in the feet. It continues on with the back. It's a pretty cool design, and it's sort of separated. You can see with these custom arms. Some arms, like, they got like the cracks to sort of represent like his stone-like skin, and you can even see that detailing continue on with the hands, which I think is pretty cool. It's a pretty cool approach. For the painting stuff, I just did a simple, for the skin tone, just did a simple like dark gray for the skin. The armor I mixed together with a couple of blues and a metallic black to get that shiny, like dark black. Black to represent the metallic coloration for him. And plus, it's such an iconic color for DARKSEID that I think it works perfectly well for this guy. And for the face, you can see that this would probably be like one of my takeaways with it, is that like with the face, I wish I was able to like blend it in better. I went back to my old methods of basically just printing off like decals on paper and then gluing them onto the face. And with this one, like, I just took a picture of like a knockoff DARKSEID figure that had the face expression that looked perfect for it. Just cropped it out, printed out, and then painted in to blend it in with the rest of the figure. Like, the facial expression, I think, works for him. And just this like weird sort of gap that you can clearly see of where the difference between the paper and the face. I wish I had found a way to like blend it in better. And just make it look more seamless. Apart from that, it's pretty cool. So for an overall review on the figure, like, again, Venom did a pretty good job on the figure, but a couple of nitpicks that I would give, at least from my DARKSEID, is that positioning the figure is a little bit difficult. It's like I had to take the molding tool and scrape out the bottom underneath his feet. And also, a big concern that I really have with this one is that the arms do not fully fit into the sockets. Like, if we're taking this out, for example, you could see like some red, like, putty clay in here. The sockets in here don't fully collapse onto the Lego piece. Like, the piece can easily connect to the arms perfectly, but without like some putty inside for the figure, like you can see there, the arms do not fully connect to the torso. So it's extremely loose. And only other alternative would have been to have glued the thing in, and I wanted at least to give this like articulation to represent, as in like if this was like an actual Lego big fig, but it does make it look a little bit wonky. And I did try to like fill in as much putty as I could on both arms with the arms, as well as like in between the sockets from the body to the arm, as best I could to like try and fill in that gap. So I don't know if that is the same thing with other DARKSEID figures, if people have purchased that, or if it's just mine. But that would be sort of like the takeaway with that. It's just like it's a cool design, but articulation could use a little bit of improvement. Now, last time here, we have the updated look on the Mad Titan Armored Thanos. If I'm gonna be honest, this was a figure that I wasn't planning on remaking. And again, like, I was pretty content with how my Avengers Endgame minifigures came out, but when I saw the custom mold for the Zack Snyder's Justice League DARKSEID, I thought it would be cool to, like, go back and take a new approach out for Thanos. And honestly, when comparing it to the original, like, here, let's bring it out. Hang out. You can see the vast difference between these two. So obviously, like, aside from the overall detailing and sculpting stuff, you can see that the paint is definitely different, and the facial expression as well. So now, looking back and forth between two, like, at the time, this was great, but compared to this now, this is so much better. So the overall design for this figure, this is based off of a knockoff Thanos figure that I got from one of my convention adventures, and it was very different. Very different. That, like, the overall coloration was pretty different. That, like, the gold was about the same. It had, like, a dark blue instead of for the metallic parts. The purple was way darker, and the eyes were completely yellow. And it also came in with the nano gauntlet, that the Hulk used, to reverse the snap. And it looked cool. That's cool, but I definitely wanted to paint it up to make it a bit more movie accurate. So the gold was about the same. I did go back and do a couple of fixes here and there. The dark blue I replaced completely with metallic black, as that suited so much better for Thanos in the movie. And I also added in, like, a couple of my own sculpting stuff, like these with these straps on both the arms. For this arm, I sculpted on. I actually thought that this armor piece was for the other part, but for some reason this was actually meant for this side. For where the nano gauntlet was. I don't know why it didn't have the other ones, the other side, but it actually worked in my favor because I was able to just take the piece and put it back in the correct hand. I then took the rest of the gauntlet piece and just sculpted around to, like, fully complete the piece. And then on this arm, you can see this time I sculpted on the Infinity Gauntlet. For those of you who don't know, with the last Thanos, I wanted the idea on being able to, like, remove the hands as well as, like, the armor piece and strap on with the gauntlet. And that was cool at the time, but I also remember how much of a pain in the ass it was to try and get the clay out, and the clay to not only stick to the hand, but making sure that it wouldn't stick into the arm itself, and so that way it could remove the hands and whatnot. And I didn't want to go through that again, so I said, you know what, fuck it, let's just sculpt it on entirely. I won't replace the arm. It will mostly just be for display, and it actually worked out so much better in my favor, because it allowed me to sculpt on the arm, to really give more detailing into the gauntlet. And the gauntlet, I painted in with, like, a light, I think it was like a rose gold, or maybe it was like an orange brownish kind of gold, but I was able to, like, do the detailing on that. And then as sort of a little bonus piece compared to how the other Infinity Gauntlet went, I added in, like, these rhinestones and stones that I got from Etsy. To each represents the Infinity Stones. It was a little tricky on gluing them on there, but thankfully they got into each of their sockets correctly, and it gives the overall look, and it's so much better than the other Infinity Gauntlet. It looks really, really great. And yeah, overall with the rest of the detailing, it was pretty much like self-explanatory. And sorry, with the paint job, I decided to go ahead with a lighter purple this time, as I think it blends in pretty well, and it looks pretty good. With the face, I actually did a bit more detailing work on with it, like first painted on with the skin, and then went back work with some of the detailing. But like with many of my other attempts, the helmet is actually stuck on the head, so I can't remove it even if I want to. But honestly, I think it suits him pretty well, as it still gives off the overall armored look and appearance for the figure. Here, give you a quick look at the back. Like, you could see like the rest of the paintwork and detailing. And overall, this turned out to be pretty fun figure. That, like, again, I was proud of the original Thanos at the time, but compared to this just looks really incredible and really well done. So that's going to do it for this episode of LEGO Arts. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This was a fun project to do. to do, and I'm glad that I was finally able to do this, especially with the DARKSEID figure. Like I mentioned before, that I wanted to do him for a long time, and the updated Thanos was more so of a bonus really to put with this character. But I'm really glad that I did it because the updated look just looks so well done, and also sort of allowed me to like try out with new skills that I've learned over the years, which I always like to do whenever I do like these revisit figures. And for now, that is going to be it. I'm not sure what the next episode is going to be. I know I'm still waiting up for some stuff for the Spider-Man PS5 showcase, which I'm still working on that. In the meantime, I'm mostly just going to be working on some fun stuff. Though, if you want to check out like some of the stuff, like if you want to purchase your own DARKSEID figure or like some of the rhinestones, or like the rhinestones that I use for the Thanos figure, I'll include links to the pages in the description below, so you can go check them out, go give them a like, give them support. And if you want to check out like some of my other showcases that I've done, such as like the God of War Ragnarok project, Batman, Kingdom Hearts, everything else, you can check them all out in my LEGO Arts playlist. And for now, that's gonna be it. So if you guys want to see more videos like this in the future, be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that bell for notifications. It really helps us work on LEGO projects and have some fun. So overall, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, hit that like button, comment below, share, subscribe to YouTube, follow me on Twitch. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time in the next video. Goodbye!